Well, hello again. This is Pam, and it's Monday, March 22nd, 2021. Welcome to the reading of the Record Courier, and we'll begin with today's area deaths. Richard M. Rushnock, 54 years of age, passed away Thursday, March 18th. Visitation will be held Monday, March 22nd, at the Green Family Funeral Home and crematory service in Manawa from 5 to 6:45 p.m., where his funeral service will then begin. Betty J. Seaton Cammon, 63, of Kent, Ohio, died March 18th. Friends and family will be received Thursday, March 25th at Bisler & Sons Funeral Home. Calling hours will be held at 11 a.m. and funeral services will be held at 12 p.m. Margaret Neal, age 100, of Kent, Ohio, died on Friday, March 19th at her home. Calling hours will be held 12 to 1 p.m. Tuesday, March 23rd at Bisler & Sons Funeral Home. Funeral services will be held 1:30 p.m. Tuesday, March 23rd at Grandview Cemetery. Joseph A. Penna Jr., 66, of Garrettsville, passed away on Thursday, March 18th. Care for Joe was entrusted to Mallory DeHaven Carlson Funeral Home and cremation services. Elizabeth Ann Perkins, 20, of Windham, passed away March 18th. You may contact the Green Family Funeral Home for further information. George E. Herden, 84, passed away Wednesday, March 17th. Funeral arrangements will be announced in the future by Anthony Funeral Home, Kuchko Anthony Kurtz's Chapel. Irene Icana Mosquito made her final journey on March 15th. Irene was a sweet woman to all and will be greatly missed. Cecilia Ann Boyle, 98, passed away Tuesday, March 16th at her home. The family will receive friends Tuesday, March 23rd from 5 to 8 p.m. at the Anthony Funeral Home, Kuchko Anthony Kurtz's Chapel in Akron. A Mass of Christian burial will be celebrated at St. Paul's Catholic Church at 10 a.m. and will be live streamed at facebook.com/Anthony Funeral Homes. On March the 10th, our beloved friend, wife, and mother, Tommy DeVita Reitnauer, went home peacefully. The Reitnauer family will be having a private service and burial at a later date. Barbara A. Davis, age 75, of Kent, Ohio, died on Monday, March 15th at Cleveland Clinic. Calling hours will be held 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Monday, March 22nd at Bisler & Sons Funeral Home and Crematory, followed by a memorial service. And that concludes the reading of the area deaths listed in our online edition. So let's continue on with our first article. Ravenna woman, 72, killed in a two-vehicle crash on Route 14 in Edinburgh. A Ravenna woman is dead following a two-vehicle crash on Route 14 in Edinburgh. Patricia Reese, 72, was traveling east on Route 14 in a 2007 Ford Taurus at about 12:32 p.m. Friday when she approached a vehicle that was stopped waiting to turn left onto Knapp Road. According to the Ravenna Post of the Ohio State Highway Patrol, Reese drove left of center to avoid hitting the vehicle and hit a 2016 Freightliner Cascadia, which was traveling west on Route 14, the patrol said. The Freightliner was driven by Michael E. Sussler, 62, of Crestline, Ohio. Reese was pronounced dead at the scene. Sussler was not transported from the scene. Department of Transportation, Ravenna Township Fire Department, Portage County Medical Examiner's Office, and the Portage County Prosecutor's Office were also on the scene. Up next, Ravenna School District seeks public input in search for a new superintendent. The Ravenna Board of Education will host a focus group public meeting to allow people to have a say in what qualities they'd like to see in the district's next superintendent. Dennis Hunkala, Ravenna's superintendent since 2011, recently announced his plan to retire at the end of the current school year. The board has contracted with Finding Leaders to find the district's next superintendent. The meeting will take place at 6 p.m. Tuesday in the auditorium at Ravenna High School, 6589 North Chestnut Street in Ravenna. Those with questions can call Craig McKendry, District Treasurer, at 330-296-9679, extension 1030. A Ravenna man indicted on attempted murder charges in the stabbing of another man by Jeff Saunders. A Portage County grand jury has indicted a Ravenna man in connection with allegations that he broke into the Ravenna apartment of a relative of a woman he attacked last September and stabbed the man on March the 9th. According to Portage County court records, Maplewood Street resident Patrick M. Boggs, 51, is scheduled for arraignment before Judge Lori Pittman on Monday at 10:30 a.m. on charges of attempted aggravated murder, and aggravated burglary, all first-degree felonies, as well as 2 counts of second-degree felony assault, with 1 count alleging the assault was with a deadly weapon and a single count of third-degree felony tampering with evidence. Ravenna police said Boggs broke in to Alan Voyer's Ravenna apartment about 5:44 a.m. March 9th and stabbed him in the chest and neck with a throat injury considered life-threatening. Voyers was taken to University Hospital's Portage Medical Center and then taken by helicopter to UH Cleveland Medical Center. Police said he was initially listed in critical condition, but by the next day had stabilized. Police said Voyers identified Boggs as his alleged assailant, and an off-duty police officer arrested Boggs at a Ravenna discount store later that morning. Boggs is being held in the Portage County Jail on a $750,000 bond. According to court records, a warrant was issued for his arrest on Thursday, the day the indictment was filed, and a sheriff's deputy served the warrant to Boggs at the jail. According to court records, Boggs has a history of violence, mainly against women. He was free on bond and awaiting sentencing after pleading guilty to 5th-degree felony attempted domestic violence on March 1st. As part of a plea deal, the charge had been amended from 3rd-degree felony domestic violence following previous domestic violence incidents in a September 8, 2020 incident involving a woman in Ravenna. Police say Voyers and the woman are related. Boggs also served 12 years in prison for pouring kerosene on his then-wife, Angela Boggs, and threatening her with a cigarette lighter in their Charleston mobile home in February 2001. Angela Boggs, 38, and her boyfriend, Dennis Huggins, 35, died in a May 2017 arson fire in their Akron home, along with 5 of their children. Jared Boggs, 14, Dacia Huggins, 6, Kylie Huggins, 5, Olivia Huggins, 3, and Cameron Huggins, 1. Angela Boggs reportedly had been 4 to 5 months pregnant at the time of her death. Police briefly detained Boggs, who had been released from prison in 2013, but determined he did not start the blaze, and they later charged Stanley Ford in the Akron fire. Court records show Boggs pleaded guilty in 2017 to 4th-degree felony domestic violence involving a 3rd woman in May 2017. He received a 6-month sentence with credit for about 4 months he had spent in the Portage County Jail. Wow, that was a very disturbing article. Up next, Ravenna man indicted on attempted murder charges in the stabbing of another man. Let me make sure this is, this is a repeat. And here we go. Braggs out as Portage Finance Director next week. Sheriff's Budget Chief tapped to replace him. By Diana Smith. Portage County's head of budget and finance is expected to be fired next week, and the budget director for the county sheriff's office has been tapped as his interim replacement. Last week, commissioners discussed dismissing Todd Bragg from his post, but instead agreed to put him on administrative leave, saying they would fire him unless he resigned on Monday. But a Tuesday meeting was canceled, and instead, Bragg's fate was discussed at the end of Thursday's meeting. Bragg was hired to his post in 2013. A review of his personnel file showed mostly positive evaluations, although he was not evaluated at all last year. Commissioners agreed Thursday to extend Bragg's administrative leave until March 25th and to terminate him as of that date, rescinding the termination if he resigns before then. Commissioner Tony Badalamenti said the additional week would give Bragg time to consult with a lawyer. Commissioner Sabrina Christian Bennett, who has opposed Bragg's ouster, was absent from Thursday's session. Meanwhile, Badalamenti and Commissioner Vicki Klein voted to hire David Lair as interim director of budget and finance. Lair, Badalamenti said, would work part-time and resign his job at the sheriff's office where he is budget director. He will be paid at the same hourly rate the county paid Bragg, Badalamenti said. Lair, a Geauga County resident, served as Geauga County's administrator from 2004 to 2019. Previously, he said, he was the elected fiscal officer for Newberry Township. He has a Master of Business Administration degree from John Carroll University and is a military veteran. Moving on. Man indicted on murder and assault charges in Nelson Township girl's shooting death by Jeff Saunders. A grand jury has indicted an 18-year-old man in the March 12th fatal shooting of a 17-year-old girl at the Nelson Township home in which they were both living. According to Portage County court records, Zachary David Blosser is now facing 2 counts each of unclassified felony murder in the death of Kaylee Freitag and second-degree felony assault, as well as single counts of third-degree felony tampering with evidence and fourth-degree felony safecracking. The murder and assault charges all include firearm specifications, and one of the murder's charges alleges that Freitag was killed during an alleged assault, and one of the assault charges alleges the assault was committed with a deadly weapon. Blosser is accused of shooting Freitag in the mouth at the home of Knowlton Road 9000 block at about 4 p.m. on March 12th. Portage County Sheriff Deputy Ralph Spitarelli said the gun was fired once. In a 911 call, Freitag's grandmother told a Portage County Sheriff's dispatcher that Blosser, whom she identified as Freitag's boyfriend, had said the shooting was an accident and that Blosser was performing CPR on Freitag. The woman later said that she had not been present in the home's basement when she heard the gunshot while upstairs, and that Blosser had told her it was an accident and it was unclear who fired the gun. She also said she did not know why there was a loaded gun in the basement, adding that she believed the gun had been kept unloaded in a safe by Freitag's uncle, the homeowner. Court records list an address for Blosser on Indian Canoe Trail in Ravenna, but Spitarelli said he's been living at the home for about a month and a half at the time of the shooting. He said Freitag also lived there. Blosser is being held in Portage County Jail on a $2 million bond. He was arraigned in Portage County Municipal Court in Ravenna on Monday and had been scheduled for a preliminary hearing in the court on Friday morning, but is now scheduled for arraignment before Common Pleas Judge Becky Doherty at 11 a.m. March 26th. According to court records, Blosser has been assigned a public defender who could not be immediately identified for comment. The Streetsboro seniors are excited to gather for first time since the start of COVID-19 pandemic by Caitlin McGarvey. For the first time in a year since the start of the COVID-19 pandemic, the Streetsboro Senior Center hosted a party. Senior citizens celebrated St. Patrick's Day in style with food and live music on Wednesday. About 32 people stopped by the center, located on Route 43, for lunch provided by Streetsboro's Honey Baked Ham and live music by Ed Amon. In the spirit of the holiday, Amon strummed his guitar to the tune of When Irish Eyes Are Smiling and sang while visitors sipped on green punch. A touchless machine measured visitors' temperatures as they entered the building. After it determined they did not have a fever, people were asked to write down their names before entering the event room. When not eating, attendees talked quietly and listened to the live music. There was no dancing. The layout of the party room was slightly different compared to previous similar events. Tables placed 6 feet apart from each other lined the perimeter of the room. On one side was a long table for those who had already received both of their COVID vaccine shots. The rest of the room had small tables with either 1 or 2 chairs at them. Those who chose to sit in pairs sat on either side of a plastic tabletop divider. Regardless of inoculation status, all attendees observed mask protocols. Elizabeth Butt and John Fleck came fully decked out in bright green apparel. Butts wore shamrock pants, a matching shirt, and a tall striped hat. Fleck's green bowler hat, sash, and shirt even matched his face mask. The two said they were excited to be at the party, though it was not their first time returning to the senior center. The center had been opened in a limited capacity since late December, activity coordinator Linda Stiles said. 5 days a week, the building is open for socializing, card games, and more. Reservations are typically required for the center's big events. Though attendance was originally capped at 20 for the St. Patrick's Day party, Stiles explained the COVID-19 vaccine rollout and ease of gathering restrictions allowed that number to expand. Planning was, at the very least, a month-long process because state mandates kept changing. Even just arranging the event room took all week. The Streetsboro Senior Center chose to host a St. Patrick's Day party because the numbers of COVID-19 cases in Portage County had gone down and it was no longer deemed level 4 public emergency or purple on the public health advisory system. The state's vaccine rollout plan and some restrictions lessening also helped open up the event to more people, Stiles said. The St. Patrick's Day party had a waiting list, Stiles said. People called daily to ask if they could attend. Instead of turning them away once the capacity was met, she wrote their names on a waiting list. Eventually, everyone on that list was able to be invited. There are still some people in the community that do not feel comfortable at the center, however. The pandemic has been brutal for senior citizens, Stiles said. Many are experiencing depression and loneliness because they are unable to see their grandchildren and families in person. If someone in the community has an older neighbor, she suggested, check on them from a distance, even if you cannot go into their homes. Stiles said the Streetsboro Senior Center hopes to host an event similar to St. Patrick's Day, to the St. Patrick's Day party sometime in the summer. Until then, a number of activities are lined up to take place throughout March and April. At 2 p.m. on Tuesday, community organizations will come together at the Streetsboro Senior Center to teach seniors more about what volunteer opportunities are available for them in the community. An ice cream social will also be held at 1 p.m. in April. Reservations are required for both events. As the weather warms up, Stiles said she is hopeful the center will be able to host more events outside and invite more people. Any senior citizen age 50 and older are welcome to participate in activities. For more information about the Streetsboro Senior Center, call 330-626-2398. Some news from the CDC. Students can social distance at 3 feet apart. FEMA will begin funeral reimbursements in April. And 540,000 U.S. deaths. Live COVID-19 updates by Eleanor Aspegren and Adriana Rodriguez. The CDC on Friday relaxed social distancing rules for students as President Joe Biden says his goal of administering 100 million coronavirus vaccinations will be accomplished 42 days ahead of his target date. The 100 million dose goal was first announced December 8th, days before the U.S. had authorized any vaccine for COVID-19, let alone the 3 that have now received emergency authorization. By the time Biden was inaugurated on January 20th, the U.S. had already administered 20 million shots at a rate of about 1 million per day. The president promised to unveil a new vaccination target next week during a White House briefing Thursday, as the U.S. is on pace to have enough of the 3 currently authorized vaccines to cover the entire adult population just 10 weeks from now. But even as vaccine supply continues to increase, some of the most important sectors of the population remain unvaccinated. According to a Washington Post Kaiser Family Foundation poll, more than 4 in 10 health workers say they haven't received a vaccine. Only 52% of frontline healthcare workers said they received at least their first dose of the vaccine. Meanwhile, more than 1 in 3 say they weren't confident vaccines were sufficiently tested for safety and effectiveness. The poll follows trends from a recent study that found 38% of nursing home staff accepted shots when they were offered, according Centers for Disease Control and Prevention data released in February. And now, the Flashes struggle in all phases. Drop MAC opener to Huskies. Kent State opened the 2021 Mid-American Conference season with a disappointing 6-3 loss to visiting Northern Illinois on Friday at Schoonover Stadium. The Golden Flashes 6-6 were out-hit 12-6, committed 2 errors, and surrendered 8 walks to a Husky squad 2-10 that doubled its win total on Friday. Northern Illinois' number 9 hitter Brendan Joyce went 4 for 4 and broke a 2-2 tie with a 2-run single in the 5th inning off Kent State reliever Richie Dell, who's 1-1. Dell walked 4 batters and allowed 3 runs in 1 inning in relief of starter Ryan Lane, who gave up 2 runs on 5 hits with 4 walks and 5 strikeouts in a 3-2-3 inning of work. The lone bright spot of the day was Jack Carsonas, who allowed 1 unearned run in a 4-1-3 inning and did not walk a batter while striking out 2. Colin Matthews went 2 for 4 with an RBI single to pace Kent State's offense, which did not produce an extra base hit against Huskies starter Michael Lazwis, who was in 8 innings, and closer Paul Torelli, perfect 9 innings. The 2 teams will play a pair of 7-inning games on Saturday, beginning at 1 p.m. Around Ravenna, Dr. Jay Richardson gets 80 cards on his 80th birthday by Angie Reedy. I talked to Susan Richardson and found out about Jay's birthday and wanted to share it with you. I'm going to use his own words. Jay, Dr. Richardson, was turning 80, and with the COVID-19 still present, there would be no celebration. Our sons, Todd and Rhonda and Trent and Judy, and grandchildren just couldn't let it go, so they thought it would be fun to shower him with birthday cards, hoping to get 80 cards for him by his birthday. They worked hard to get the word out. The cards started coming from family and friends, and Doc enjoyed the cards and many messages sent him. As his day came closer, he received 30 cards in 1 day. This took him most of the afternoon reading and enjoying the messages he was sent. The next few days, more and more cards came by mail, so he had received 65 cards with 1 more day left. Surely he would get the 15 cards he needed, but the mailbox was empty, and it was his birthday. Good friends and our wonderful neighbors stopped by that day with cards, balloons, and good wishes. We were amazed he received the 15 cards he needed to make the 80 cards on his 80th birthday. Also, a proclamation from Frank Seaman, mayor of Ravenna, was presented to him proclaiming January 16, 2021 as Dr. J. Richardson Day. The day turned out to be sunny and bright and a wonderful day to remember. Only wishing we could have invited all that came by that day in to celebrate with him. Darn that COVID-19. Jay wants to thank all who sent him cards and those who put their kind words down to make this birthday so special for him. Sorry, I didn't know. I could have sent a card too. This will have to do. Happy 80th, Jay. Talking to neighbor Patty DeMasso, she couldn't say enough good things about her experience with her first COVID-19 vaccination. According to Patty, she was very impressed with the organization and speed of receiving her shot. She had to travel to University Hospital. Management centers on Warrensville Road, but it was well worth it. Happy it's done with 1 more to go. Another neighbor, Jean Johns, was honored by Portage Industries, Inc. in appreciation for 40 years as a member of their board of directors. They also wanted to celebrate her 90th birthday, a little late due to the pandemic, with a birthday breakfast. Needless to say, Jean was surprised and very pleased. Congratulations, Jean. Former classmates of Ravenna High School meet monthly for lunch, and Fred James keeps in touch with former classmate Ken Castor, who now lives in Florida. He thought he would see if Kenny could guess who some of us were, with masks, and he did perfectly. Well, my dear friends, that concludes the reading of the Record Courier for Monday, March the 22nd. My name is Pam. We all hope that you have a good day. Stay safe until we meet again. And be blessed. Make it a great day.